Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to election night version of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. It's 412-575-2600. We won't deal with the political elections, but we will talk about things pertaining to sports, and there are some interesting items out there today. You can also tweet us on Twitter, at KDPomp, at Gene Collier. And we'll begin with the Penguins, who today made some changes to their power play specifically and also to some of their line combinations. After last night, a rare thing happened, at least for Mike Sullivan. They lost 4 consecutive home games. Regular season, postseason, it just does not happen. The last time it did was 2015. Gene Collier, outstanding columnist with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, is here. So I know it's November, and I know how you stand on these October, November games, but do you have any concern about this?
I think you know my position. No, I have no concern. But this reminds me, the way the Penguins are playing right now, at least in my view, and you know, admittedly it's a limited view because, as you pointed out, it is November. But this reminds me of, you know, if you get into one of those Steeler games where none of their defenses seem to work, and the explanation is always that, you know, too many of the defensive calls were not fit correctly. They were misfit. You familiar with that?
Yes.
You've heard that term.
Yes, I've heard that.
And I think that's a good way to describe what's going on with the Penguins right now. They have all these excellent parts and all these, you know, almost excellent parts. I mean, they have great talent, but they're not fitting it together exactly right. Part of this has to fall on Mike Sullivan. I've always viewed him as too quick to make changes. Again, and now today he breaks up the power play, blowing through Canada 4-0. So the only thing I could predict for the Penguins is that there will be a lot of line changes between here and the opening round of the playoffs.
There will be. But that's just the way Mike Sullivan does it.
But I'm not panicking.
No, and you know, the power play, you split Crosby and Malkin into 2 separate power plays, and that's probably done more for effect than anything else. I can't believe that it'll eventually stay that way. It always goes back to where their best 5 players are on the power play, and it happens to be one of the best in the NHL. He did move Hornquist down with Hagelin on a line featuring Malkin, so that takes Kessel off of that line. Kessel goes down to a line with Gensel and Sheahan for now, although Broussard remains out with injury. So a lot of different stuff. They have a game against Washington tomorrow night at the Capitals, the Stanley Cup champs, who were struggling on their own right. And we saw today that Joel Quenneville got fired. Right. Gene, this is how hockey operates. The guy has 3 Stanley Cup championships in 10 years. He's been to the playoffs 9 of the 10 years, 2 other conference championships. And 1 year last year, they missed the playoffs. They're 6-6 this year, so he's out of a job.
Yeah, in none of the so-called major sports are coaches as tenuous as they are in hockey.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, especially with a guy like that, with that kind of track record, and really an organization that should know how these things work. I don't know. I don't know why they think that kind of change is what is necessary for that team. I mean, they've got some problems, obviously, but I would not have listed Joel Quenneville as one of them.
Me neither. They've spent a lot of money on other people. They have top-end salaries, and they haven't developed all that much. It's more on Stan Bowman than I think it is on coaching. All that. Stan Bowman controls the the keys to the car, so he got rid of his coach. We'll see what happens there. Le'Veon Bell, it's an old story. It's a tired story, but here we go again. Seen at a local LA Fitness. Whether or not, you know, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I'm getting to the point now where we see Photoshop pictures, we see these pictures. Is it really him? Is he on a jet ski? Does he weigh 300 pounds or not? Gene, what are we going to do with this? Why don't you? I wish for 1 second he would just either come in and just end this whole thing, say it, get it over with. The deadline's next Tuesday, but I am really tired of this narrative.
Yes, I think I'm on record as being tired as well. But this makes perfect sense, this LA Fitness rumor, because the more recent, the other sighting in the last few weeks was at a Get-Go or a Stop and Go. Right. And they make great sandwiches there. So probably he's at LA Fitness trying to work off that sandwich right before he comes in. It makes perfect sense.
Well, he's still not showing up at Steeler headquarters, and he might tomorrow and sign this thing, because I still think he's going to sign it and be here for the balance of the season. Quite frankly, I say they need him in case of injury, but so far we have not seen and they have not heard. 412-575-2600, that is the number to call. Get on the phone now. We'll air your opinions as we continue until 11 o'clock right here, 7 nights a week. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW.